Okay, everybody, so what's going on? Let's talk you and me. This is my post-market wrap-up on this Thursday, September 16th, 2021. Let's start off with this market today. That's kind of what I usually start off with, isn't it? Anyway, it just helps me get my bearings straight because I don't rehearse any of this, as you know. I do write down a few things with regard to economic news and the like, and we're going to cover that in a moment. But we had a crazy volatile day in this market. At one point, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down about 270 something points. We finished down only about 60. A lot of dip buying. Imagine how surprised I am. Oh, you can't imagine how surprised I am. Now, did you see crude oil? Also, a lot of dip buying. We were negative on crude, and then that dip, of course, got bought up. We finished flat for the day. Okay, just freaking lovely. 10-year yield 1.33, nothing going on there, despite the fact that we continue to hear warnings, caution, fear, whatever it might be. There's some other thing going on here, people, and I think you are more than well aware of it. Nothing, again, is what it seems. And this mechanism of keeping people in a constant state of scared or terrified or fear, it's destroying society at its core. Excuse me, got something in my eye. Oh. Anyway, that's the narrative all day. If you're following the mainstream channels, warnings and fear and caution and this and that, I'm telling you, when you hear this stuff, start smiling, because generally the opposite is what happens when you have, again, all of these things, whatever they are. They're not even people out there, warning you and making you afraid, or at least trying to, the market's going to crater, it's going to crash tomorrow, it's all over, blah, blah, blah. Generally, I mean, if history has taught us anything, usually the polar opposite happens. And we witnessed today, yet again, more dip buying. I don't understand people sometimes. Look, the stock market is no guarantee, at least in the short run, that anyone is going to make money, okay? It involves risk. You understand? I think you do. So, look, markets go up. Oh, markets go down. Really? They do both things, okay? But if you look at the market over time, I mean, higher. I mean, just, a week or so ago, we were at record high. Look, if anyone out here is so fearful about this market about to drop or crash or whatever, then get out. Get out. This is not the place for you. It's just not. All right. In anything, if you want to put your cash to work in any asset, there's no guarantee whatsoever that in the short run, things are going to go the way you want them to go. All right. And that's why for me, and you, I mean, I've been sitting here keeping you all on the right side of this for years. We know what to do from every angle. I got you covered. You got yourself covered. This is what I explained to you. Be diversified. There's no reason to be afraid. If you realize that at one point, risk on becomes risk off. Okay, that's the way it works here generally. But gauging from the market, from the debt market, it's stable. There's nothing going on here. The debt market is generally correct. Okay, it's everything else that is a derivative of the debt market that is more or less volatile, like the stock market. But again, if you understand the drivers of this market, and I know you do if you follow this blog because I cover it every freaking day, you're laughing. You're laughing at the warnings and the cautions and the Buffetts and whatever it might be out here. You can't do that, okay? You must remain steady, steadfast, and you got to keep your head in the right spot. When you see, for example, gold and silver prices being sucked down secondary to the derivative, look, Gold and silver, as I always explain to you, are long-term plays. We do realize it is the most rigged aspect of this market. Well, maybe the debt market is with the Fed buying everything, but there's no price discovery mechanism in it. And we're taking advantage of that. In my view, risk on, like now, cash moving into the stock market, the dips all getting bought up. Even if the market were to drop 5, 10, 15%, that's a buying opportunity in my view. And anyway, like I always say, watch that 10-year yield. It's the key to the market. If it spikes in an uncontrolled fashion, and I will let you know when that happens, that's when we take cover. That's when we pull profits. That's when we start allocating more capital into risk off. You understand? But for right now, we're covered, you and me. We got it all covered from every single angle. Anyway, so that's the story. A market that was very volatile, dips being bought in crude, dips being bought in stocks, gold and silver falling under pressure, cryptocurrencies flat to slightly lower, the dollar putting on some strength today. Again, the relative dollar strength. That doesn't mean the dollar is getting stronger, okay? I still have to explain this because I get emails, like 10 a day, maybe more. It's not, the Dixie, what I follow, is the relative strength. Okay, I'll cover it again for those of you that aren't listening. It's not absolute strength like, oh, the dollar's getting stronger, look at the Dixie. No, the dollar's getting stronger if the Dixie's higher in relation to other currencies. Obviously, the dollar is losing purchasing power. We're watching prices rise across the board. As a matter of fact, that's part of the economic news that we got today. What did we find out? Here, costs of raw materials continue to surge. Imagine my surprise there. And here's another one. Rents year over year are up 11.5%. That's pretty freaking epic, if you ask me. And I don't think there's any end in sight with regard to this. So those two lovely pieces of economic news, raw materials prices continuing to rise, rents rising, another 332,000 people first-time unemployment claims. That was just from this morning. Oh, things are just great. They're fantastic and tremendous. Don't you know that? Can't you tell? Unbelievable. It really is, people. But again, you and me, I don't want to laugh. I don't want to, and I do. Sometimes I chuckle at this stuff, but the fact of the matter is, this is real people, and it does bother me. And they're just not going to get it because people have been sold a lie on an epic scale. And they're going to continue to be fist-fed lies and propaganda and more dog shit than you can possibly imagine moving forward. So again, what does that do? That brings you and me full circle. Meaning we got to understand what we're looking at, remain steadfast, and do what we're doing. We're not going to deviate. There's a lot of people, look at the comments here, about the dollar and in gold and silver. You shouldn't be putting money in gold and silver. Duh. They don't know what they're talking about. Or they don't understand what we are doing. We understand the debt is a hyperbubble. It's going to continue to inflate and then eventually burst. And that means the environment of risk becomes risk off. And all cash is going to do is move. It's going to move from one set of assets to another set of assets. That's all that's going to happen. And we've seen this cycle repeat over and over and over since when? Time immemorial. And it's not going to stop now. So for all of you and are getting like all upset, and look, I get it. Don't think I don't get it. When you see, for example, the price action of gold and silver, like today, getting big hit, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I own this stuff. I own significant amounts of physical gold, physical silver. I own platinum and palladium as well. But when I see this kind of action here, I look, I can't even talk. Nothing. Zero. Because I realize what I'm doing and why I am doing it. Because at one point, what? Risk on will turn risk off. We capitalize on everything around us here, not just one thing. If you're a one-trick pony, I have all my money in this, I have all my money in that, then you could be fearful or have some kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but if you are somewhat spread out to take advantage of everything that's going on around you, then you're okay. There's no reason to get upset, panic, or anything like that. And I think you got it. You gotta remain level-headed. Once you start getting all uppity and your emotions take over, well, then maybe you'll do something stupid like dump your physical metals, which I think they would love you to see people do, because it's getting dragged around. The price action of physical gold and silver is being pulled around by the derivative. It's an upside down market by design. You know that. Anyway. All right, look, covered a lot of stuff here. Very important. Ignore the warnings, the cautions, and the fear. Ignore it, okay? If this is getting to you, if you're getting fearful, if you're in this market and you're scared and terrified, you're going to make a bad decision. And I don't want to see you do that. Understand? All right. Love you a lot. Please share the video. See you in the morning.